The main event for UFC 286 has been confirmed. It is indeed Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 3 for the welterweight championship, as Leon Edwards did KO Kamaru Usman into the Shadow Realm in their last matchup in August in Salt Lake City, Utah, with an absolutely crazy turn of events after Kamaru Usman absolutely dominates Leon Edwards for a majority of that fight, and Leon Edwards comes out with the last minute of that fight to KO Kamaru Usman. So we have a super interesting fight now headlining UFC 286 in London. So Leon Edwards will definitely have the bulk of the fans there cheering him on. A completely different scenario, is no longer in altitude. We have a beneficial matchup for Leon Edwards now after a beneficial matchup for Kamaru Usman. Super interesting matchup. I'm going to be doing an early prediction and breakdown for this matchup right now. If you haven't seen any of my videos that do the early predictions or breakdowns, I'm basically going to compare how they are physically, and then I'm going to break down how I think the fight will go. So let's get right into the matchup. We have Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 3. Leon Edwards 20-3, Kamaru Usman 20-2. Leon Edwards only 31 years old, and Kamaru Usman is now 35 years old, so he's kind of getting there, but he's still pretty much in his prime. But we'll see how he reacts after this last fight. They're both 6 feet tall. I don't believe that. I think Leon Edwards is definitely at least like an inch or two taller than Kamaru Usman. They're both at the same weight class. Leon Edwards does have a 2-inch reach disadvantage in this matchup, and he will have 2 inches of leg reach on Kamaru Usman in this one. I'm basically going to go through the history in their fights recently, so we can basically go over that and recap that real quick. We have Leon Edwards facing again Kamaru Usman in their last matchup, winning by a head kick KO. Absolutely insane. He beat Nate Diaz after Nate Diaz pulled off that one punch at the end. That kind of took away what Leon Edwards did in that fight. He's kind of messing around a little bit, in all honesty. For the previous matchup there, we had Bilal Muhammad, ended by eye poke because Leon Edwards eye poked Bilal Muhammad to death. And then a win over RDA for Leon Edwards there. For Kamaru Usman, last fight was a loss to Leon Edwards by KO. Beat Colby Covington, which I think was a draw, but it's fine there, I guess. Beat Jorge Masvidal again. KO'd him there, actually. And then KO'd Gilbert Burns after he did struggle early on in that fight. Not necessarily struggle, but did get knocked, wobbled. I guess you can say he didn't necessarily go down, but he did get wobbled. So for this one, super interesting matchup. We have different circumstances for this matchup than we did in the second fight. This third fight, a lot of things are on the table here. We have different situations for both of these guys. Kamaru Usman coming off a big KO loss. We don't know how he's going to react there. And then we have Leon Edwards, I guess, kind of believing in himself now after that last fight where he kind of gave up and then he came back and KO'd Kamaru Usman. So we'll see how different this fight will look. I think it's going to look very different in this matchup. For Kamaru Usman, he also, I believe, has had a hand injury. That's what's been rumored. He had a cast on or whatever, and this fight's still going on. I believe he went into the fight last time against Leon Edwards in the second fight with a hand injury also. So Kamaru Usman is still having hand injuries. I guess you can say this is 2 in a row. And then he's also been KO'd. So we don't know how Kamaru Usman's going to fight after being KO'd. He can definitely be a little bit more cautious on the feet. That's what I think he's going to be doing. I think he's going to be super aware. I think he's going to be not taking as many chances as he would normally, because I think he is afraid that maybe Leon Edwards will set him up again for that big head kick KO. For Leon Edwards, he's no longer at altitude here with the bad cardio. It definitely wears and tears on the conditioning. Kamaru Usman normally trains at high altitude, so it's not normally an issue for him. For Leon Edwards, he is in his home area too, so he's going to have the crowd behind him. For 5 rounds, that is actually perfect for Leon Edwards. You'll see, generally, I think in this matchup, you'll see Leon Edwards definitely start to deteriorate in the conditioning department because Kamaru Usman has magically great conditioning with the size he is at. So normally where you would see a Leon Edwards get tired there, I think the crowd would actually help him and boost him up a little bit, get some more adrenaline in him there. I think in this matchup also, I think Leon Edwards knows what he has to do to beat Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman I guess he knows also what he can do to beat Leon Edwards. He's done it once before. I think he's not going to take as many chances. I think he's going to try and walk Leon Edwards down again to the fence and then just hold him there and try and take him down. But I think in this matchup, because it's no longer at high altitude, we'll see Leon Edwards definitely post a lot more. You saw he started posting earlier in that fight. He definitely took down Kamaru Usman in that first round. and then he started posting a little bit. But in the second and not the second, I think, did he get taken down in the second? In the second and third and fourth round, you saw him kind of just give up a little bit. Mostly in that third and fourth round, he didn't really try to defend those takedowns too much. He was kind of just hovering against the fence, was kind of just being held there. It looked like he was kind of giving up there. He wasn't posting as much. You saw him post a little bit in the fifth round. He started to believe in himself again. I think you'll see not as much wear and tear in a matchup where it's no longer at high altitude for Leon Edwards. And I think he'll definitely have the energy to defend some of these takedowns too. I think we won't see a Kamaru Usman taking many chances. So I think he's going to hold a higher guard. You'll see, I think, Leon Edwards start to go after the legs a little bit more of Kamaru Usman. He did it in the first round. I think we'll see a little bit more of that. We'll see more oblique kicks and some more calf kicks too, because that's a good way to attack Kamaru Usman, especially if he's worried about getting hit with a knockout blow like he did in the last matchup. Kamaru Usman will walk him down again. So in the last matchup where Kamaru Usman would feint a takedown, or you would go for a takedown, or he would actually come in to swing, you would see Leon Edwards hit him with a knee, or you would see him hit him with a hook coming in. And actually in the first round, you saw a couple times Kamaru Usman, when he would get hit with the hook, he kind of step aside too. So he was definitely getting, I wouldn't say hurt, but he was definitely feeling those hooks Leon Edwards was throwing at him. And the knees to the body were pretty good too. I think if Leon Edwards can get that going, I think he can kind of even out the conditioning in this matchup too. So that's going to be very important for Leon Edwards, defending those takedowns, posting a lot more, staying away from the fence a little bit, maybe circle around a little bit more. But Kamaru Usman is really good at trapping his guys against the fence that he wants to take down and maul against the fence and tire him out there. So that's what Kamaru Usman's good at doing. But again, use those knees, use some of those hooks, and get Kamaru Usman a little worried to get close. So more, especially elbows, actually. I think I want to get in that more too. I think Leon Edwards did land a couple good elbows. I want to see him land a little bit more elbows in this matchup too, especially if he's going to be defending some of those takedowns, move it up to a clinch, and then just, again, he's a bigger guy than Kamaru Usman, and I think he can use some of those elbows, knee to the body, and then just work Kamaru Usman that way. I think this fight does go to a decision. I do see Leon Edwards winning this matchup. I think Leon Edwards will best Kamaru Usman on the feet. I do, even though the reach is not beneficial for Leon Edwards, I feel like he's longer for some reason. Maybe it's because I think he'll throw a little bit more kicks in this one. I think he'll be feinting the kicks more to try and worry Kamaru Usman a little bit, keep him out of range a little bit more. I think that's what we'll see from Leon Edwards. So I think he's going to be able to outpoint Kamaru Usman here, defend most of the takedowns. I think maybe in the second half of the fight, maybe fourth or fifth round, we'll see Kamaru Usman get some of the more successful takedowns in this matchup. So I still think Leon Edwards does retain the belt here. I think Kamaru Usman, after a KO loss and coming in with an injury, is not good for him. He's in enemy territory for this one. He's not going to have a crowd behind him. Leon Edwards is going to be riding so much momentum in this matchup. I just think he gets it done. I think he gets the decision. I think he outpoints Kamaru Usman on the feet. I think Kamaru Usman in the fifth round will probably take a little bit more chances, knowing he has to win that fight that way. I think he will probably take Leon Edwards down and just try to finish it there. But I can see Leon Edwards surviving Kamaru Usman in those later rounds. So I'm going to go Leon Edwards by a 48-47 decision here. Maybe 49-46, but I definitely see 48-47. Because I think if we get to the point where it's 49-46 or where it's looking that way, I think Kamaru Usman is probably going to take a little bit more chances because he does have that KO power that I think he can land. Because even though we still had questions about Leon Edwards' chin going into the fight with Kamaru Usman in that second matchup because of that Nate Diaz shot, I still think he's going to be able to take those shots a lot better. I think he's going to be able to avoid those situations against the fence, use some more of those knees to the bodies, like I said, use those hook, keep Kamaru Usman honest, use the high kick feints or his leg feints that he was doing quite a bit in the earlier rounds. Use some more of those to keep Kamaru Usman honest and mess with him a little bit. Get Kamaru Usman thinking not so much about that takedown and not getting knocked out in this matchup. So I'm going to go Leon Edwards, 48-47 decision here. I think it's going to be a clear 48-47. I don't think it'll be necessarily a split decision kind of thing. It'll probably end up being a split decision if it is a clear 48-47, but I am going to go with Leon Edwards in this matchup. I think he retains, and I think whoever wins this, I think is just Khamzat Chimaev food at this point. I think he is pretty much beats anybody in that top 5. Maybe Bilal Muhammad gives him some issues, and we saw that Gilbert Burns fight, but I think Khamzat Chimaev was not as disciplined in that Gilbert Burns fight. So, and I have actually heard that Khamzat Chimaev might not be down in 170 anymore, but we'll see how that goes. I have Leon Edwards winning by a 48-47 decision. Again, this is early, so it could change by the time fight week happens. Maybe Leon Edwards has a surprise injury too or whatever, but I am going to go with a comfortable, clear 48-47 decision win for Leon Edwards here. He could get the KO again. Maybe he just overwhelms Usman at some point, but I'm going to go Leon Edwards in this matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Tell me in the comments down below, who do you think will win this fight? What do you think of my pick? And I'll see you guys